So this is just a short video. We're working on a 2003 Passat with a 2.8 liter. It had a miss in it, and everything looked pretty good. The spark plugs looked good. The timing light was flashing, like all the spark plugs were working perfect. And it was a hard time finding the miss. Anyway, what I ended up doing was, it was showing cylinder number 2 was the cylinder missing. So I took the spark plug out of cylinder 2, put it in cylinder 1, and then I was able to hook the wire off of 3. I took it off at the coil, put it on cylinder 2, and put the cylinder 2 wire onto the cylinder 3 coil and plugged it in. And what I ended up finding was the miss moved to cylinder 3, so I knew the wire was bad. So because the wires are like $150 no matter where you go, unless you go online and get half of what was said or whatever, just didn't have the money to do that right now, so I thought I'd see if I could repair the old wire. Now normally you can take a spark plug wire apart, check the crimps and everything else. I found this one wasn't ohming out correctly when I bent the big end of the wire. So I couldn't pull the inside of it out to replace the wire with another one I have. So I ended up cutting the boot open, and here's what it looks like inside. What I found was the connection that's right there. If I can get this thing to focus. The connection right there, there's a little brass tab on the end. And that little brass tab was loose. You could actually spin the wire inside of those other 2 terminals that you see here and here. So I simply took a pliers and crimped them together, squeezed it all back together, and now the wire won't turn inside of that slot. It's a really cheesy setup. Typical Volkswagen, I guess. So now I'm just going to electrical tape that thing back together. Keep the weather out of it, or a person could probably use hot glue or something just to get it to seal, maybe some silicone. We're going to try it out and see if our miss is gone. Okay, so now that this has been recrimped inside of that little crack right there, I'm going to go ahead and test it with my ohm meter. And I got it set on 20,000 ohms, and it should be like 5.37 is what the meter should read if everything's good. So put one test lead in each end, and we got 5.37. So what I want to do now is test it by wiggling it around and see if it ever goes away completely. If it changes a little bit, I'm not too concerned about it, but it can't go away. Before, when I was doing this, it would show an open connection, which looks like that. See, I got the lead out of it. Just shows 1. But now I can wiggle it wherever I want to go. I can wiggle the whole wire at any point, and there's never a fluctuation. This wire is repaired as long as I can get the top of it where I split it open to seal. We're good. So for now, I've gone ahead and just siliconed it together. I'm using the pliers to hold it tight while the RTV sets up. Okay, they're vice grips, not pliers. It's kind of a messy mess. It's not the cleanest silicone job I've ever seen or done. I'm sure it could be done better, but you get the idea. The rubber is, or the silicone is pretty flexible. I'll still cover it with electrical tape just to kind of help the silicone. The silicone isn't really to hold it, it's more of just a seal. I don't want to get corrosion on the connection in there. I never cut this side, of course, but I still went ahead and just RTV'd the whole thing because I really don't want to get I don't want that spark to be able to escape. There's metal close to this part of the spark plug wire, and any metal that's close, that's grounded to the motor, the spark can jump, and then you'll lose your spark. You'll have a misfire. So this is the next step. I got to let that stuff harden, finish curing, and then I'll wrap it with electrical tape and put it back on the car, see what happens. Okay, so spark plug wire is covered. It's pretty ugly. I could have made it look a lot nicer if I'd had some skinnier electrical tape. I just put this together with stuff that I had laying around my garage. First time repairing it, like I said, it'd be easy to make it look a lot nicer than that. But all of this is going to be underneath the cover anyway, so I don't really care. Zip ties holding the spark plug wires together, that's pretty horrible, but it's factory, I guess German engineering. They use this wire loom right here, this corrugated wire loom over the spark plug wires, is how they really get away with using zip ties like this to hold them all together. This wire loom is made out of plastic, and it's really common for it to get brittle from heat cycling, getting hot and getting cold. Honestly, I'll probably go back in and replace that wire loom and put fresh on so they don't arc together. The insulation can actually let the spark jump from one wire to the next when they're touching like this. That's why normally they use a insulator to separate the wires. But I don't have one in my garage, so it's not going to get that. And like I said, everything over here is going to be covered, even the intake manifold is going to be covered with plastic covers from the factory. So we got it all installed. Let's hop in and see how it runs. Now, what the problem was originally was the car, when you accelerated it, even just sitting there normally without any load on the motor, it would pop out the intake, miss, just ran like crap. So let's go ahead and try this out and see how we do. Started right up, sounds pretty good. Check engine light is still on. But I rev it up and there is absolutely no miss. It sounds like a brand new car. So there you go. That's DIY repair on a spark plug wire for a Volkswagen Passat. I'm not saying that it's a permanent fix. Eventually you'll probably want to go ahead and just get new spark plug wires, but for now it saves $150 and gets us through until payday or till it starts acting up again. Thanks for watching my video.